Football is a happening. From current players who make history to the legends of the game, heroes who helped define it, with unique stories built on pride and classic moments from many years past.
68 pass, wing back out. Gio for a touchdown!
This is family.
This is home for us.
This is life.
I gotta follow my dreams. I've gotta chase them.
This is their story.
It is a massive tornado making its way in through the Tuscaloosa area.
And say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I think I feel at home.
The moment that you figure out this game has nothing to do with skill and it's about will, ain't nobody beat you.
It's Haviline's Football Saturday. Coming up, Mark Richt's return to his alma mater was celebrated by Miami Hurricane fans. The new Canes leader talks to us about the U getting its swagger back. Hunter Renfrow came to Clemson as a walk-on, but is now the toast of the town. We visit with Hunter in his hometown of Myrtle Beach to see how he became a hero in Tiger Town. You think Steve Addazio is a dude? Well, he is. And James Bates hangs out with the Boston College head coach to find out more about one of the most interesting coaches in college football.
Welcome to Haviline's Football Saturdays from Raycom Sports. Thank you for joining us for our third show of the summer. Let's begin in Coral Gables. Dominant with an attitude was the way to describe University of Miami football, who won 5 national championships from 1983 to 2001. The last 15 years, though, the Canes haven't even won an ACC title. Well, they're on the track now to become a powerhouse once again, now that Mark Richt is leading the way. Our college football studio host, Katie Witham, got together with the former Miami quarterback to talk about the resurrection of the U.
As for me, in my house, we will serve the Lord. You know, that was always something that he preached to us, but, you know, at the same time, he wanted us to learn and grow in our faith. We learned a lot by just watching and understanding who he was and what it meant to him. And, you know, you're more is caught than taught.
And growing up, you know, I didn't have a faith figure in my life, some person that kind of led me and taught me about, you know, about faith and about God. And, you know, Coach did that for me. I remember we'd be all leaving to go home, and he'd be getting ready to go visit parks. He wanted to hit 2 parks a night on Thursday night during the season, just to go see the kids and be around the kids in this community, just so that, you know, he can spread his message and give them his values and his beliefs, and also just show them how the U is now.
Well, let's start at the beginning. I am one of 3, so I can only imagine growing up being one of 5 siblings and the amount of chaos. What was it like?
Yeah, it was good. You know, my dad worked like a lot of dads do, and, you know, from 8 to 5, we were, you know, either in school, or if it was summertime, it was wild, and Mom was trying to hold her own in there, and she'd have to walk around with a belt around her neck to threaten to whoop us and all that kind of stuff. But you know, my mom, you know, she really taught me and us as children what, you know, unconditional love was about.
I know you were also a big Joe Namath fan. Had a picture in your wallet?
Yeah, I had it. No, but I had 2 pictures. I had one, like my bed would kind of go like this, and then there'd be a desk next to it, and so the side of the desk is where more of my pillow was. And there, I had a picture of Joe right there. And then I also have a little mini one in my wallet, because he was my hero. He was a quarterback, and he was the man.
First thing you see when you wake up.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me about high school. You are an all-star athlete in high school.
Yeah, I mean, high school was great. It wasn't until my senior year that things really went well in football, because I got hurt the first game of my junior year. I was kind of a late bloomer, and there was other schools involved in the mix, but when it came down to it, I was like, I'm either going to Miami or I'm going Ivy League. I'm going to Brown. And as it turned out, you know, I went to the beach.
I read an article where you said you arrived on campus with your own agenda. Freshman year, you're going to be the starting quarterback. Sophomore year, you're going to be the All-American. Right. Junior, the Heisman winner. And it resonated with me because I absolutely had an agenda like that.
Yeah, I had it all planned out.
Yeah.
And then Jim Kelly showed up and lived my life for me. Yeah. Used to hate that guy.
What was that like?
We're actually good friends now, but I never hated him, but I hated the fact that he was doing what I thought I was going to be doing. And I was really I started out on the straight and narrow. I started out like I'm on a mission to achieve these goals, and then when I didn't achieve them, I just went in the tank. My life was football. My identity was in football. I think the one thing I learned in college was don't always get what you want, and you don't always get what you think you've earned. It's a bottom line business.
And I know it was, as is a lot of people's dream, to go play professionally, and you didn't give up on the dream.
No,
you tried.
I did. I went from let's see here. I went to the Broncos as a free agent, and
you had some good people around you.
Yeah, the day I signed my contract, my free agent contract, for $8,000 signing bonus, by the way.
$8,000.
Big dollars. And but that's the same day that John Elway got traded from the Colts to the Broncos. So I'm like, okay. I already just got done dealing with Lucky Jim. Now Lucky John Elway shows up at Denver. And then the next year I tried out with the Miami Dolphins, and that's when Dan Marino showed up. And so I had Kelly, Elway, Marino. I was probably the fourth greatest quarterback in the world at the time, but no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, I think maybe God knew that I was going to coach QBs one day, and I needed to know what a good one looked like. So
put you around some of the best.
Yeah, I couldn't really look in the mirror and see that, so I had to see those guys.
So it didn't work out. What happened next?
Oh gosh, I had so many odd jobs.
Yeah. I heard you were valet parking cars, so I'm hoping you were the one.
Well, what happened, if you want to get that detailed, I don't know how much time we got, but I was valeting cars at the Boca Raton Hotel and Club, and they'd have these huge events where they'd be parking cars all the way down the golf course. And you could make money, obviously, by bringing a car and getting a tip. And every time I brought a car back, I just ran back to the golf course and got another car and came back. And so, after about a month or two, I'm like, you know what, I'm in the best shape of my life. Yeah. It's time to try out for the pros again. My last job before I was coaching was a bartender. And
something tells me you spilled a lot of drinks.
I wasn't very good at that. And as I'm cleaning the bar about 3, 4 in the morning, I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I'll be a coach. And so I actually ended up being a graduate assistant coach at Florida State. And that's when I met Coach Bowden, and that's when my life really changed there.
It's interesting how you got there, though, because you were headed to LSU.
I got the job as a graduate assistant at LSU, had my U-Haul packed, getting ready to go, and I got a call that night before I left, and it was Coach Bowden. He said he had a graduate assistant position with the quarterbacks.
Full speed down the center line, playing in a hitch step.
Left fullback counter.
So I called the U-Haul and said, hey, I'm going to Tallahassee instead, and so that's how it got started.
Life-changing, definitely. I know you had a lot of success while you were there, but you also had some tough times, especially in your second season when you lost a player.
Year 2, Pablo Lopez, who's from Miami, he got shot at the party, and then the next day Coach Bowden had a team meeting, and I was in the room as the graduate assistant coach, and Coach Bowden basically said a lot of things, but he said, man, I don't know where Pablo is. I don't know where he'll spend eternity. And he basically presented the gospel to the team and said, God, he sent his son Christ to die on the cross to take on all the sins of mankind, and if we just choose him, then he'll pay the price for your sin, and give you a new life. You become a new creation and all that kind of thing. So he's kind of going through the gospel with the guys, and then he said, He goes, men, Pablo used to sit in that seat right there. He goes, you guys are 18 to 22 years old. You think you're going to live forever, just like Pablo. And he said, if that was you last night instead of Pablo, do you know where you would spend eternity? And so he's talking to the team, but I'm like, it's piercing me. And I was like, I know where I'll go if it was me last night, you know. I go the next day and knock on the door, and he's like, hey, buddy, how you doing? And he calls you buddy when he's not sure your name is. And so anyway, I went in there and prayed to receive Christ. And then I just began to try to obey, just kind of love and obey God from that point on. It was truly, you know, really was a life-changing experience. My old sin nature I was born with was eradicated through the blood of Christ, and I did become the new creation that you read about in the New Testament.
When we return, Coach Richt's mission is more than just winning championships. Haviline's Football Saturdays is coming back.
I know faith helped you in your career as well. The day after Christmas, I believe, in 2000, you were named the 25th head football coach at the University of Georgia. That town in particular and that football culture, they love you or they hate you.
Yeah.
They loved you.
Well, I think they loved the fact that I loved the players. They knew I loved the players. They knew I was out for their best interest. And we were pretty good. You know, we were a pretty good team, and we had a lot of very good moments. But you know, in the end, you know, we didn't win enough championships, and so it was time to move on. And I understood it. I mean, we all signed up for this business, and so it, you know, I left there grateful and thankful for the opportunity that I had and the time that I spent. I really wasn't bitter at all. I was really more grateful for the opportunity.
So you mutually parted ways with Georgia. And
that's
at the
how
time,
you word it. That's how you word it.
That's
yeah.
how they word it. At the time,
basically, when you leave and they pay you, then you got fired. And if they leave and you don't get paid, you probably just quit. So, anyway.
You at the time though knew that Miami had been interested, but you were set that you were going to take a year off.
So I was considering that, but as soon as the news came that I was leaving Georgia, I got bombarded from former players just thanking me for being an influence in their life. And, you know, I was talking to Catherine, maybe God wants me to keep doing this thing. You know, it seemed pretty evident. I had opportunities besides Miami, but I was like, you know what, honey, I'm going to listen to Miami. If we go, we're all in, or we're just not going to, or we're going to sit. You know, so I had a chance to meet Blake, James, the AD, and some of the board members, athletic board members, and when I left there, I was like, you know what? I think Miami's serious about being great again. And so I was like, it's either now or never, and we decided to do it, and we're very, very thankful we did.
It also has to be fun that your son's out there, and you are watching him become a pretty darn good coach.
Well, John is he's a very good coach. He loves the game. He's a great recruiter. He's like the rest of the staff. He's a good person. He loves his wife. He loves his kids. He's the right kind of guy that you want to be a mentor to young people.
You seem like you're proud.
Yeah, he's a good man. And he's got a beautiful wife, Anna, who's really smart. And then, you know, their daughter, our granddaughter, Jaden, is the most beautiful girl in the world and the smartest girl in the world.
When I sit here and I talk to you, and I now know your story a little bit better, I believe that God has a plan for you. And whether, you know, you're in college and you're like, wait a minute, why is this not working out? And now here you are back at Miami. What is your mission statement here with these guys?
Well, basically, I'm asking all of our coaches to do everything with excellence. And I want them to enrich the lives of our players, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I want us to all be good examples of what we're trying to teach them, you know, because really they hear, but they watch more than they listen sometimes. And then the last thing is, which probably could be the only mission statement, is to, you know, honor God with what we do, honor God with how we go about our business.
At different points in your life are the definition of perseverance, and you've seen and show others how important faith can be in terms of definitely never giving up. What's one piece of advice that you would give somebody who is struggling to kind of find their way right now?
Well, I think we as people we were searching for answers to life. Why do I exist, you know? And I quite simply believe God created us. He loves us. He wants a relationship with us. And He loved us enough to allow His Son to die for our sin, that we really, you know, God is a just God too. And there is a payment for sin, but He allowed His Son pay that price for us. When your heart changes, then you start doing things out of love rather than because you have to. It just changes how we think. We know that the things that we come across in life, and life is not easy. Just because you become a believer doesn't mean your life's great. You still have things that happen, but I know no matter what happens on this earth, it's nothing compared to the glory of when I jettison out of this body into my new body that God's going to give me, and my spirit and soul will live forever with Him, you know, and that gives me peace.
Yeah.
It gives me peace.
Me too.
All right, Katie, thanks. They got their first bowl win in 10 seasons this past year, and they are loaded for bear coming up this season. They have to replace their quarterback, Brad Kaya, but man, watch out for Manny Diaz's D. A top 20 defense a year ago and nastier this season with 8 players returning.
Want to hear about dreams coming true and having a career night in the biggest game of your life? Stick around. Hunter Renfrow will tell us all about it when Haviline's Football Saturdays returns. Welcome back to Haviline's Football Saturdays.
With all due respect to Perry Tuttle, Hunter Renfrow's game-winning catch at the end of last season's national championship game is the biggest in Clemson football history. His path to that legendary moment could not be more different than the blue-chip 5-star talents that have many calling Clemson wide receiver U. We traveled to Myrtle Beach to visit with the former Clemson walk-on, whose career is something out of a Hollywood script.
We're at Myrtle Beach, about to go play some bocce on the beach. Yeah. Roll it up there. There you go. Don't miss short. This is what life's about, just hanging out with the people you love. Just being able to relax and kind of reboot and rebuild for the season coming up. It's 5-4, win by 2, playing to 7. We're up, we get 2 here, we win. So let's go finish it. Now that I'm in college and I get to come back to a place like Myrtle Beach and the beach and go hang out with family here, it's just a great time, and I enjoy it more than anything. I come from a fairly large family. We got 3 brothers and 2 sisters, so 5 siblings. So I'd always be competing with my brothers and sisters growing up, and that's just been a big part of my life.
You know, we have 6 kids, 10 years apart, and lived in a small house growing up, and I think I helped develop a close family.
Hunter likes to compete. All of our children are very competitive. And like I said, fortunately, they always had someone around that they could be competitive with.
Hunter always growing up wanted to be a receiver, but we ran an option offense at Soxty, and that was 85% of our offense. And Hunter was, you know, we knew he was a gifted athlete, and so we put him at quarterback, and he enjoyed it just because he got the ball in his hands.
I think just growing up, I just love football. I tell people it started in the backyard, just being able to play receiver in the backyard, and I really enjoyed it. I just had to play quarterback because they usually put one of the best athletes on the team at quarterback to run the triple option. But I knew going forward that I always wanted to play receiver in college.
I had 6 or 7 high school coaches that would send me text messages all the time about Hunter Renfrow at Saukesty. And so I really heard a lot of good things about him. And finally, whenever he came up to our football camp, to be honest, I was a little surprised at his stature, because he was probably 5'11", 155 pounds, and didn't look like the traditional wide receivers that we typically recruit.
So we brought him in on an official visit and laid it out, like, this is the opportunity at Clemson. You're not ready to play at Clemson. He had some other smaller offers, and so it was a big decision. You can come and chase your dream. I think you're good enough to play, but we're just going to have to throw you in the weight room for a year and let's just kind of see where you are, because he just had to get stronger, and that's exactly what he did.
I really just wanted to be able to play with the best, and that's something that brought me to Clemson, is being able to play with the best every week and just know I can play with them. And besides that, just a lot of prayer, and Coach Winnie had a lot to do with it, just his godly leadership and just being able to kind of plug right in there and learn from some of the best coaches, but also the best men in the nation. I remember my first practice, I probably dropped 7 out of the 12 balls they threw to me. I just couldn't catch it. I was just nervous. I remember going off the practice field that day thinking, well, maybe this receiver thing is kind of harder than I thought. Maybe I should have gone to Charleston Southern and played quarterback. But I kind of settled down a little bit and just worked through scout team on my freshman year, going against guys like Mackenzie Alexander, Robert Smith, TJ Green, J-Ron Curse, being able to go against them every day and compete. And they were the #1 defense in the nation that year, so I knew if I could compete against them, then I could hold up against anybody.
You know, Hunter's been a guy that really has just embraced his role, whatever that role was. He did it to the very best of his ability. So I think he earned the respect of our team because of what he did on the scout team that first year.
At the end of the day, this is a program that the best player is going to play. And it doesn't matter if you're a walk-on, a 5th-year walk-on, or a true freshman. The best player is going to play. And that's what you're seeing with Hunter. And listen, I got one more in my back pocket right here. It's going to Hunter Renfrow.
Didn't know I was going to get a scholarship, and I just remember just feeling relieved because my parents had helped me out a lot, and just knowing that it was going to help them out tremendously. And also the reassurance of my belonging and feeling like I could contribute to the team.
Watson takes a snap, rolls right, looks into the end zone. Hunter Renfrow caught it! Touchdown! 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 With a second left, Watson hits Renfro, and Clemson grabs a 34-31 lead.
But I remember just lining up and knowing I had Tay outside of me, and he was going to do his job and try to get a corner route. And the guy ended up tackling him, but coming off patiently and just getting behind Tay, and Deshaun hitting me, and then seeing him run down the field like he just hit a 3-pointer to win the game.
The job that Renfro did, you know, and how he set the defender with his release, with his stem off the ball, and then his ability to stick a foot in the ground and open his hips and accelerate, that's what makes him special.
You know, I don't think there's anybody on our offense that Deshaun is more comfortable throwing to in that situation than Hunter Renfrow. And I saw him do a great job at the top of his break point, and whenever he got open, I felt very confident that we'd complete the pass.
I remember just standing in about 30 minutes after the game, knowing we'd won the national championship, just looking around, seeing all the fans, just appreciating and just knowing how blessed we were as a team and me individually to have that moment.
Just a satisfying moment more than anything for me that team, which Hunter was a part of, accomplished something they'd set out and worked so hard for.
Hunter Renfrow, that's a teammate you always, want to be around, a guy you want to be around. He don't say much. He's just a quiet, humble spirit.
Yeah, he's just a guy that got a ball. The whole family knows that, and I think people like to think there's some superstar, and he is. He's a crazy good athlete, but it's just a guy, and he realizes that.
It's going to end one day, and I think the most important thing to Hunter is he loves playing ball, and he'd love to be able to do that, but just some family. We got a real close family. We enjoy each other, and then we've got Christ at the center of our lives, and that's what's important to us.
I think he's a guy that's going to continue to grind over the next 2 seasons, grow physically, and as he does, again, his natural assets and strengths that he has are just going to shine even brighter.
I mean, we're already on to next year. I think it's something that I can appreciate 20 years down the road, but for the next 2 years, I got to be locked in on what we have to do to go win another one.
Boston College head coach Steve Addazio takes us on a dining experience next.
I could make that my main dish.
Nice bread. Give me a little of that, Barney Rubble.
Work on that Barney Rubble. That's what I'm talking about right here. Huh?
Haviline's Football Saturdays returns. Welcome back to Haviline's Football Saturdays.
Steve Addazio burst onto the college football scene in Gator Country, winning 2 national championships as the Florida assistant head coach and offensive coordinator under Urban Meyer. Now, this Northeastern dude is home serving out his mission as head coach for the Boston College Eagles. James Bates traveled to Chestnut Hill to talk family, philosophy, and some hard-nosed, in-your-face football.
Fenway Park, baby, one of the greatest venues in all the world of sports. You want great sports? Beantown's got them, and not just the Red Sox. The Celtics, the Boston Bruins, right up the road in Foxborough, you've got the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. And come to think of it, there's a guy up on Chestnut Hill, a dude, I should say, named Steve Addazio, is trying to add one more team to that mix, the Eagles at Boston College. You're gonna love this dude, trust me, come on. Well, there you go. The guy that put Eagle football on the map, 1984 Heisman Trophy winner, Doug Flutie. Here, I got some Flutie flakes for you. What's that, girl? Coach is on the 3rd floor? Let's go. Come on. Going to see Addazio, floor number 3. Coach, I see your stamp. You know, back in the days at Florida, it came around. And it never really was like that until Urban Meyer came to town.
Right.
And until you guys came to town. And you guys won so many games. And these things, these stamps that now adorn the halls there in Gainesville and help propel you guys to championships, I see that stamp here. And I see it as being your team, your home, and you've got a really good fit here.
I grew up here. I love the ethnicity up here. I love the different restaurants, the different food groups. I love the beach. I love the change of seasons. I love the foliage. I mean, you know, my whole career I really wanted to have an opportunity to get back to the Northeast. It's my roots. It's, you know, like your roots are down in Florida. You know, when I get up here and I get out, and I've just got a smile on my face, and my family's up here. BC has been a tough, hard-nosed football program in their history. So that mantra is a good mantra here. It fits, and so I think toughness and accountability and all the things that we believe in, those sayings you're talking about, they work here. I love football. Like, you know, I love football, and I love everything about it. I love competing in it, playing in it, coaching in it, being around it every day. I got out of the business for a short period of time in my career, and it made me really appreciate how much of a passion and how much I loved it. When you find your passion and find something you love, you can have a chance to excel at it, and that's what it's all about.
Well, you sure picked the right profession. I mean, you're a football coach, and I mean, you pour your heart into this team, you pour your heart into this sport. When I think of a football coach, I think of dudes like yourself, and it really is kind of neat to see somebody that living out a dream and it being such a perfect fit.
You know, I was very lucky. I grew up in an unbelievable home with unbelievable parents. As I told my dad was a professor, but he really was a teacher. And my dad had an opportunity to speak all over the country, and he shaped and touched so many lives. I saw that growing up, and I thought it was the coolest thing. You know, I had this unbelievable dad and the effect that he had on people as a teacher, and I always thought that that was special. So that was always very appealing to me, and then my vehicle, because I had such a passion for sports, for that to come together for me was just, you know, a great thing. You know, on my dad's tombstone, it says in a little whisper, like, a teacher. And when I go visit that, it really impacts me. I was just there, and a teacher. He had the ability to affect in a positive way people's lives. As a coach, we have an opportunity and a responsibility to preserve this great game and to affect people's lives and make a difference and a change. That's the coolest thing that we get to do. I know we get measured on wins and losses. I got it. Big boy, got it all figured out. And that's wicked important, and I got it. And, you know, winning is hugely important at this level of college football. But man, it's cool to think that maybe you can affect a few people's life in a positive way and make a difference. That's what it's all about, you know. And I love that part about coaching.
Take us back to the USC game.
Yeah.
You know, here you've got, at the time, they're one of the top dogs in the country coming to town. And it seems like it's such an important game. And, you know, and on top of it, you're honoring a fallen hero here from BC in Wells Crowther.
During the week, talking about Wells' story, which, understand now, our players, a vast majority of them are from New Jersey. Several of them, fathers work downtown, even work in the World Trade Center. So this is something that they're very familiar with. It's very personal to them, right? So a very captive group listening about Wells' story. Wells is a BC guy. He played here, played lacrosse here. He gave his life trying to save other people.
It was about others, and it was about saving and changing lives. It was bigger than himself. I want you to play bigger than yourself tonight. I want you to play bigger, deeper, harder. Scratch a little bit harder with great desire, and play behind the institution of Boston College.
It was an electric night.
Touchdown!
The red bandana blinking through the stadium. Everything about it. And one of the great thrills was to win that game. Everybody stormed that field. It was pretty riveting. It was unbelievable. I think it was one of the great moments for our kids, the kids to be a part of something like that.
1, 2, 3, for Boston, we sing our proud refrain.
The concept that faithfulness and loyalty will always be rewarded. To have that experience here as a young man or as a coach, whomever in this football program, you know, is something that can come back to you in your life, whether you're talking about your marriage, whether you're talking about with your kids, whether you're talking about something like football, you're talking about your career, that when things get hard and they get tough, you got to learn how to pull closer together. And your loyalty and your faithfulness to each other will pull you out of there. You keep the faith that the light is at the end of the tunnel if we can just stay together. I love this team.
We're still standing tall. Yes, sir. Ain't nobody knocking nobody down. We're still standing tall. And we're still having an opportunity to fight for everything we want in this field today.
I'm guessing the Wake Forest win to put you there in a bowl was pretty special too, Dan.
It was incredible.
Get it done and get it right. It's our chance. We fought for this opportunity. We got it. We leave it on the field, everything we got. You got to ante up, man. It's time to go on that field, stand tall, and ante up. Everybody took a shot at you, couldn't knock you down. Now it's time to start swinging, man. We have got to play 4 quarters of Boston College football. I'm talking about demanding from each other unbelievable effort, I'm talking about driving each other. I'm talking about having each other's back. I want a rough, tough, physical football team that's ready and mentally set to go the distance today. 4 quarters to get back in this locker room with 6 wins. Get to a bowl game. Seize the moment. Everybody here, dig a little deeper and seize the moment.
I remember coming up the ramp, and they were all waiting in that locker room. And as soon as I came through the archway, the whole thing exploded. Coaches, players were crying, and just again, just an incredible feeling, a culmination of, we all got each other. And isn't that the essence of a team? I mean, isn't that really what it's all about? And we experienced that together. In the locker room after that game was why you coach. Not because it was a celebration that we won. You could tell that the kids found a way to pull together and bring the best out of all of us.
What's important for you for these young men to learn when they're around you and your coaches, and what is important for them as much as being good football players for you when they leave here?
For us to be great role models as husbands and fathers. I mean, we have a family dinner here on Wednesday evenings, and we set it up so that each position sits with the coaches and their families, their wives, their kids. I want our players to see our coaches interact as husbands and as fathers.
John, you gotta finish, John! Push him, Anthony, push him!
We have a simple philosophy here. We coach them real hard, but we love them hard. Through our actions, let the kids know that we'll do anything for them. We're vested into their lives, on and off the field. It's our responsibility as teachers and educators to be good role models, to help the development for them to become better men. I hope when they leave here, they have a better appreciation for that, and yet compete like crazy and want to win and go after all of that. But let's also develop that family atmosphere. That's our goal, that's our goal.
Hey man, why don't you show me around town a little bit? You talked all this trash about, there's only so much barbecue a dude can eat. Talking about the food back in Gainesville. So I want you to put your money where your mouth is.
Are you done now? Seriously.
Paul Revere's house right around here? Hey, you know why I brought this? Because I'll probably get some meatball on my shirt. Woo! Here it is. This is the spot, huh?
This is the spot right here.
Is this kind of like play like a champion today?
This is where your culinary dreams are met right now.
You gotta touch the banner.
Get in there before we get wet, okay? Get your luggage.
I could make that my main dish.
Nice bread. Give me a little of that, Barney Rubble.
Work on that, Barney Rubble.
The best restaurant in the North End.
That's what I'm talking about right here. Huh? Yeah, they said we could go anywhere in the ACC, any coach. I said, I wanted that meatball, and this is what I want right here. We got it.
Yeah, with Addazio and with White. 2 of your favorite guys.
Don't forget your man here. This is
I'm not done. Oh. And the Prince of the North End, Anthony Campanelli. Huh? Beautiful.
No doubt.
We say our blessings before the meal and after the meal, but I mean, you're blessed. You're doing what you love, and you're around a lot of great people.
Yeah, lucky. Doing what you love to do, around people you want to be around, in a job that you have a passion and you love, right? Being able to do this with old friends, coming in here, eating like this, that's what life's all about, right? Like they say, the process. This is enjoy the ride. This is the ride. Enjoy it, right? When you can enjoy it, you lose that perspective, you lost everything.
I grew up in a house with a father who's a football coach. So for me, it wasn't just about great games and events and talented athletes. It was always personalities and stories that really intrigued me.
What's up, fella?
Yeah. My time with dudes like Coach Addazio has always been special.
By the way, I can't let you go without giving you a chance to say something to Bates, who said you were soft and you put a coat on.
Basie, I got to tell you something. I really debated it, but man, I had a bone chill going down deep. I had a feeling you would think that too, you know. I'm with you. Maybe I am getting soft. I don't know.
I got you back. Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Batesy, I got to tell you, you call the man out, and you know what? He comes right back at you, doesn't he?
Because he's a dude. Because he's a dude like he's always said. But you know what, Coach? You can borrow my hat next time. He can borrow this hat. Oh, man, he's great.
And when the game ends and the stadium empties, it's all about family and friendships and the love for one another. That's what you get with Steve Addazio. A pretty good dude, I must say.
Dude is something special to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you're a dude, it means you're the best. You're great at what you do. You're a dude. You handle yourself right. You're good. You know, people know who dudes are. That guy's a dude. You're a dude. And it's just kind of a way of letting somebody know they're special. You know, they're special.
Addazio is what makes being a dude special. And with Harold Landry, the nation's 2016 sack leader and one of the top defenses in the country returning, 2017 might be special. He needs it to be. Addazio is the perfect fit at Boston College.
Emmy Award-winning Havilines, Football Saturdays, will be right back.
There's an old saying in our profession and in coaching too, sometimes an address change is just the right recipe for success. Miami's Mark Richt is in a wonderful position. He takes over and stabilizes a program that's looking for a proud tradition reborn. In Manny Diaz as his defensive coordinator, they are stacked on that side of the ball. And the Coastal Division within the ACC has always been up for grabs. I like Miami's chances this year. Coming up on our next show, we sit down with the NFL MVP and Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan, two-time NFL Coach of the Year and Carolina Panthers head coach Ron Rivera, one of the best D linemen and biggest personalities in college football, Clemson's Christian Wilkins, and Rory Coleman, who served his country overseas, won a Purple Heart, and is now looking to make a difference on the football field. To check out exclusive videos from this show and past stories from our series, go to footballsaturdays.com. For our entire Raycom sports staff, I'm Tim Brando. So long, everybody.